We create a committee of board, not dissimilar to the investment committee that we have now. To set policies to have.
Could have been involved in, didn't, should have been. Clearly, if you look at what places like Stanford are doing, it's not totally accidental that so many of the Silicon Valley companies actually looked to Stanford because we either went there or they were funded by people associated with Stanford. And I think when innovation is moving very quickly, some of these, clearly won't work out, some will work out faster than you expect. But I think for a research university not to have a focus on this is what you should do. And with all due respect to our retirement fund, I don't really think they're structured in a way to address these kinds of opportunities.
So if we're sitting here in 8 years from now, the discovery of Herceptin, I'm just making this up because I don't have any idea what it did or didn't do for the university, but it was a big cancer drug, and probably, Gene, you can answer that question, yields us, millions of dollars 8 years from now. We'll be very, very grateful that we put this in place today. And this has been, quite honestly, a dream of mine and I think we started meeting on this about 3 years ago. So I want to really be extraordinarily grateful to you, Hadi, for coming up with, I think, an extremely intelligent proposal. And just to make sure I 100% understand this, is we're going to set up, if you need a vote for it or whatever we need, we're going to set up a committee from the board, which I think you should, choose with Mark. And we are going to set up a way to have a public-private partnership wherein we are going to look for outside investors to come into a fund with us, and we will hold back X percentage of any success that the fund holds. Generally, that's what I'm talking about. Right?
Yes, that will be one of the ideas. But then the other ideas are actually going out and getting donations. There are a lot of people who would be willing, alumni or whatever, to come up with $100,000 per person or whatever to just go into
in these companies that our UC scientists start. And each and every one of these donors, some of them that I know, are thrilled when they hit the jackpot, and one of these drugs work. And I know what the odds are. I understand, and I'm from the movie business, I understand that this is very, very difficult, but you do get a hit every once in a while. And every one of these donors would be very happy if UC held a piece of this, because they would know that they were contributing to the betterment of the UC system. This is the kind of, I wish the governor was here today, so Tom, I'm glad that you're here to convey this. This is the kind of out-of-the-box thinking that we have been talking about. This is the kind of alternate sources of revenue that we have been talking about, that we're not relying on the state, just to help us out of difficult times. And this is a situation that is for the long term, yes, but the long term comes around any second. And also, we're capitalizing on the manpower and the intellectual property that we have. That's our investment. And the outside world, we're not using any of state funds, we're not using any money, we're using outside money, private money to help us. And it's just a win-win. So I'm just thrilled with this, and I can't tell you how much I thank all of you for this. And I know that in years to come, someone will say, who was it? Was it Hadi that came up with this committee that gave us this great source of revenue? And I know that someday that will happen.
The fundings that we could invest in this area. For us is to bring in, when you look at the public and private institutions, the most successful ones, they're universities. Unfortunately, you don't have this at the university. So we came out, if this university was a corporation,
that Regents can help you with outside folks, outside advice. So I do agree with Hadi the importance that this actually becomes a committee of the Board of Regents. that functions similarly to the investment committee. It's an ongoing committee where there's communication between the board, with Steve, and with some outside advisors. So I do believe that's very important. Good work, Connie.
Thank you. The idea was President Yudof and also Chair Lansing. So you did a great job, and everybody else on the board.
Having an idea is one thing. Another thing is executing it, and you executed it, and we are all extremely grateful to you.
But I was just saying, we agreed on this, if Regent Maharishi did it, which he done right. We didn't have any particular ideas, but we had confidence that he would do whatever was needed to be done, and he had a great committee. I also want to endorse the report. I think this is very sensible. It's very sensible to go outside. If you're inside, you have all sorts of fiduciary obligations in terms of your endowment. Well, this is a perfect, and there will be variation. Regent Maharishi, as you said, I mean, there's not going to be one size fits all. What I wanted to tell the team from the technology office is it's very important to stick very close to this committee. That I'm sure I'll lose someone out, but Regent Blum, Regent Maharishi, Regent Lansing, and others will know many of the entities and individuals who perhaps would be interested in this. And you know, in-house we may not, but they will have it. The last part is we need to carefully work with the campuses, because at the end of the day, OP is not a campus, as we all know. So I think the campuses need to understand this, that it's not imperialism writ large or colonialism, that it's an effort to support their activities. The income, I presume, would go to the campuses. That's very important. But it needs to be collaborative. I don't want it just to glom on and people think, there we go again. But it's a dynamite idea, and we need to work with the chancellors, the vice chancellor, the research, the tech transfer offices, and all the rest.
Thank you. We need to that you have an understanding of the patent office is how this is going to work. Clearly, the company that gets funded would presumably have the patent rights to whatever they come up with. I think where you'll have an issue is if some of it has been brought about because of what the university has done. And so how do you decide, and maybe you got to do it on one by one, as to how you need to talk to them, because we had a problem, a rather severe one last year with our center and patent that they didn't want to pay for, and we said, the heck with it, we'll pay for it. We did pay for it, and then they came back and said, oh no, we decide who gets licensed here. It wasn't easy, and I'm not sure we ever really did straighten it out to our satisfaction. So you need to have a real conversation with them.
I mean, the sooner we start this, the sooner we get our returns.
I move that we establish this committee under high.
You have to go through the
Oh, I
government.
can't do it. That's through the governance.
We'll just direct that goes that way.
So, but I think what you're hearing, Bobby, is the incredible enthusiasm and excitement and a sense of urgency. So we want it done today.
Agreed. All right.
And
Thank you all, and that concludes the meeting of the Committee on Finance.
okay, I'd now like, again, thank you. This is a wonderful way to end the official part of the meeting, and really an innovative, I know we're just going to continue with the meeting, I'm just saying our reports, and an innovative situation that we can all feel proud of, and I know will guarantee revenue, self-sustaining in the future. So I'd now like to officially call the Board of Regents to order, and I'd like to ask the Secretary for the roll call.
Regents Blum, Brown, De La Pena, Gould, Island, Kiefer, Lansing, Lozano, Makarishian, Mendelson, Newsom, Pattis, Perez, Bonnie Reese, Rubenstein, Fred Reese, Schilling, Stein, Torlifson, Varner, Wachter, Yudof, Zettel. You have the form.